Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, let's pull up this screen. All right, we got a lot going on. Looks like James is back. He absolutely lit up LSU this afternoon and scored and scored and scored. And then also Barnes and Heupel are helping each other in recruiting quite a bit, as a matter of fact, and we got a story on that as well. But let's get into James. As we've talked about in the past, when James is hot, Vols are almost unstoppable. If you remember last year in the SEC tournament, he got hot. And when James is hot, you can't really stop him because he can create his own shot. He also makes the entire team better when he's hitting his threes, and he hit them tonight, and it was just awful for LSU. Now, LSU's not, the team that you would expect because they've had to fill in with transfers everywhere. They're rebuilding. But it was at LSU, and when Tennessee's hitting their threes, they're not going to have any trouble. Now, as you can see here, they won easily, 21-point victory. The game was over after the first half when they were up 17. Let's see, Phillips had 10. He played pretty well. Ziegler played well. He scored 12. Again, another guy can create his own shot. And then James just filled it up. He had 22 points, and that's just, sorry. When he's scoring like that, you're not going to win. And LSU was really not in the game. They had one guy that scored 16. Nobody else did a whole lot. It was just kind of over before it got started. And the Vols played their typical great defense and filled it up from three. And here you can see the Vols were 29 of 65. They shot 44%, but they shot 37.5% from three-point land, and they were actually higher than that while the game mattered. They missed some at the end, but they were filling it up for quite a while. 7 for 8 on free throws. Rebounds, they out-rebounded LSU in a significant way at home. So there wasn't much to watch. It was just kind of the Vols putting on a display. And they do that when they hit their threes. They're very difficult to stop. And I'm glad to see James playing better. He looked like he was a little bit fatigued because he's not used to playing a whole lot of minutes, but his knee didn't seem to be bothering him at all. He was hitting his shots, especially early on when he had his energy. So I couldn't feel better about the Vols. Now, we were missing one player, and that's Once Daily Plavix, because he wasn't feeling good. And I think there's probably a little bit of a flu bug with this team. First we had Key out, now we got Plavix. So, it happens this time of year. Everybody's getting sick. But, 6-1 in the SEC, that's great. And that's another victory on somebody else's court, which is good in the SEC. You need to get those, as many as you can, and you got to protect your home. Now we're going to talk about the Step Brothers, which is Rick Barnes and Josh Heupel. And it turns out Rick Barnes has been helping Josh with recruiting, which Josh has his hands full with recruiting. The thing about Rick Barnes is he's only got to recruit like 2 or 3 guys a year, whereas Heupel's got to recruit 25 plus the transfer portal. So all the help he can get, he'll take. And it turns out that Rick Barnes has been helping him a lot. And here's a story about how Rick Barnes helped land Tennessee's football latest transfer edition, and that is a cornerback, Gabe Judy Lally. And Lolly's actually from Austin, Texas. And, of course, as you know, Rick Barnes coached there for 18 years. And he actually lived in Austin. Of course, he was a head coach at Texas. So, naturally, Judy Lally and Barnes bonded over that Austin connection during his visit. At one point, Judy Lally played Barnes in a golf simulator. Barnes jokingly told Judy Lally that if he beat the young cornerback, he had to transfer to Tennessee. And he actually wound up losing to Barnes. So fortunately, Barnes played well enough to where he had no choice. Look, when you make a bet, that's the way it is. And I guarantee you Heupel appreciates this. And I think Heupel and Barnes are kind of like this.
What? Did we just become best friends?
Yup.
Do you want to go do karate in the garage?
Yup. Yeah, they're doing karate in the garage together. That's just the way it is. They've made best friends.
Me made friends right off the bat.
So this is not going to be a long video. I know it's a Saturday, so not a whole lot of folks going to be too interested in a program, but I just thought I needed to come on after that excellent exhibition of basketball by the Vols, especially on somebody else's home court. And I thought that was a nice story about Barnes and Heupel working together, because I'm telling you, Heupel's got his hands full. Between the transfer portal and recruiting, it's an all-day-long deal, and I think Barnes was glad to help him out. All right, folks, glad to see James back in the fold. I'm telling you, this guy is kind of the glue to the team, and when he's playing well, we are difficult to beat. And nice little story about Barnes and Heupel. And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's be able to continue to cover the Vols and the SEC and basketball and all that good stuff. And if you've not subscribed, it's right here on the left. A lot of you watch my program, you don't actually subscribe. It's so easy. It's free, and it helps me. So if you don't mind, hit that little button right there. And right over here on the right, YouTube puts a video over here. It's my most recent one. It's pretty popular. Check it out if you don't mind. And we'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.